yeah, or something works, but it drops out.
Something like that. Okay, perfect. No
Yeah,
worries.
but
So I think we can restart again. All right. There
restart.
are
Yeah,
already some viewers online.
that's good.
So officially, welcome to the show, to this live podcast, Instagram live, blah blah blah, from Construyendo el Patriotismo. I'm happy to see that you are smiling like as usual.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have
Uh,
any reasons not to smile now, so why not?
that's
life,
right.
life is good.
That's right. How are things going there? Are you like have you had time to make some tourism around, or like I
I,
saw some
I mean,
stories of you cycling
yeah,
today and yesterday.
yeah, I've been on a bike almost straight after the race. I've been trying to catch some monkeys. I've been buying bananas and riding some roads, trying to find them, but so far, no luck. I haven't found any. I saw just a
Well,
couple, but
which one do you like more, the bananas from the Canary Islands or the bananas from Rwanda?
I mean, we tried those in La Gomera, but they were not good. These here are very good.
Ah, really?
They taste very good.
I hope there is nobody from Canary Islands listening to us.
Yeah. No, I hope so. No, but maybe that was not the season for them at that time.
Maybe. All right. So I'm very happy to have you here. The, this is all about your race, the race around Rwanda that you just won like a few days ago. And me and many people, I think, that are watching now or will watch this later in YouTube, we want to hear your story, to listen to you, how it went, the puncture you had, and all this. Like, what did you
Yeah.
like the most and stuff. But before we go straight into the race, um, how is Rwanda like? Did you were you impressed when you arrived to Rwanda and you got off the plane? Did you have any ideas of how it was going to be and it was like that? Or tell me a bit more about Rwanda because I don't know many things about it.
No, I didn't know anything either. Like I tried to do the research for the race as normal, like as usual. So I've been asking people who have been there and did races before, like Chino from Madrid.
Yeah.
He helped me a lot with telling, like, giving tips, and there were some people who did the bikepacking event at the original dates in January. So I also tried to connect with them and asked like questions about the for me the biggest concern was tires and tire choice and with the tire choice it was about the bike because this race was 1,000 kilometers, but 600 of those kilometers were on a very good roads, like tarmac roads,
Yeah.
and 40% like 400 kilometers was on gravel. Before, everybody was saying that gravel was very smooth, and there were people who did this race on 28 millimeter road tires, like Chino did. but I mean, this year he wouldn't have survived, definitely. Like it has been a lot of rain, and the smooth gravel became rock garden because all those small stones were washed away, and what was left was big stones sticking out, and there's a lot of like, yeah, river beds, small like drains in the road which you have to cross, and I don't know. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
this is
I saw some
particularly the
pictures and
reason.
videos.
Yeah, so they were nasty, but the country in itself, like Africa, I don't know. I mean, this is different, and I can talk only about Rwanda because as I've heard from other people, like all countries in Africa,
Are
they
different.
they're very different. Yeah, they
For sure.
some of them have some similarities, but they are different.
And what did it surprise you the most?
The contrast, I think, between like, or maybe the capital, Kigali. It's a European city. I mean, you see, like everything is very European, and there's some skyscrapers, the tall buildings. There's many things which you see in Europe usually,
All right.
but it's just like 6 kilometers. You get out of Kigali.
And then
It's
it's
it's another world, and people are like running without shoes and living in, yeah, quite poorly. But
Mhm.
the other thing which fascinates is that all of them smiles. I mean, they're happy with what they have, and it doesn't look that bothers them a lot. So the contrast. I think Africa is about the contrasts. It's about like you can have a very fancy cafe where there be the same Africans sitting and working with the laptops, and then you
Yeah.
just ride a bit out, and then there's gonna be people working on the rice fields and pulling those big bikes. Women working with
Amazing.
the.
That is real
But
bikepacking.
that's a bikepacking. That they are best at bikepacking. I mean, what we do is nothing. They
I,
pack their bikes properly, so
I
there you
saw some
can.
pictures today that you uploaded, and like it was amazing. The package they had was like 3 or 4 times the size of the bike.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
wow.
I'm not done uploading all the stuff I have filmed and took pictures of. So I mean, yeah, there's no limits. It looks like there's no limits. They can put whatever on those bikes. They black mambas, I think they call those bikes.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
Man,
and mamba is a crocodile.
if you want to make me a gift from Rwanda,
So
bring
I
me
should
one of
brought
those
you.
black mambas bicycles, please.
I can ride back home. I can try.
Yeah, Spain is on the way.
Yeah, around the globe.
Cool. What
No,
I
but
got
they.
from what I got from your pictures and stories is that it's all like a chaos, but to me it's like kind of a beautiful chaos. All those motorbikes, the
Yeah,
bicycles,
yeah.
the bike packings,
But
I don't know, the
everybody,
tarmacs. The tarmac is more like gravel, no? It's like potholes
yes,
everywhere.
some places that is, yeah. But they have very clear hierarchy. The biggest is the strongest. Everybody fears the lorries. The lorries they are the top of the chain. Then goes the
Uh-huh.
pickup, the smaller cars. Then goes motorbikes, and then there's bikes, and there is, yeah, cyclists and pedestrians, and so everybody knows their place in the chain, and
All right,
and
and
this
they
is how it
agree.
works. So so
And
then they make it work. Like,
beside those cyclists that with the huge bike packings that I guess they are like field workers or something like that.
yeah,
Is there also a big scene for cyclists, like doing road cycling or mountain biking? Have you
like
seen
today,
many?
no, we rode around Rwanda. It's about 1,000 kilometers. Yeah. Uh,
Oops, we lost connection, Justinas. All right, once again, Justina's connection dropped. Let's see if he can reconnect soon. Okay. Let's invite Justinas again.
yeah. I think
Okay.
I'm gonna stick
Now,
on. I tried to use Wi-Fi, but it's not a thing you can trust here. So I'll try mobile data, which maybe is more stable.
all right.
So
So
yeah, but
we'll make it a bit shorter then.
yeah. No, no, it doesn't matter. I have it's yeah, it's okay.
All right. So you were telling us about Rwanda and the bikes in there. You met today some cyclists.
Yeah, like I met only two on the road, and but today I was riding with a rising star of Africa. Like he is just like 22 years old, but already been a junior champion, I think, of all
Really?
Africa. Yeah.
And how did
So
you meet
and
him? Like by coincidence, or he knew
no,
you
no, I
from the?
mean we brought a lot of stuff for the cyclists because it's not only they used they didn't had all the parts when there was available, and now when there is a bike like cycling parts shortage in the world, so in Africa there's nothing, like nothing.
You
They
can
say that
imagine. Yeah?
they say that if the tube is patched two times, so it's almost new. It's like, yeah, they don't need to do anything.
Sure.
So that's different. So we brought some parts. I brought some chains, some cassettes, yeah, grip
Cool.
tape, and old saddles, which are they took it as a yeah. For me, they were old, but for them, they are like new. So the state of the
Beautiful.
bikes, the state of the bikes they train on, they have seen some life, yeah, because they give from one to another, and like yeah.
Yeah.
The second checkpoint in the race, it was in a Africa Rising Cycling Center, which is up in the mountains. That cycling center is at 2,300 meters, I think, above sea level.
Mm-hmm.
So they have quite good possibilities to train and develop. Yeah. So
Nice.
around that area, I believe there's more cyclists, but around here in Kigali, yeah, there are, but not that you meet them on the way all the time. No, a
Okay.
lot of a
Good.
lot of cyclists with who carry, there's the moto taxis and there's bicycle
Yeah.
taxis.
Ah, cool. They are
Yeah,
strong
so
then.
they they are strong, man. I mean, they can keep up with you on the hill with those black mambas, like
Really?
easy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Crazy.
amazing.
Crazy. Cool. Let's go then into the into
To
the
the
race.
question.
Into the race. Well, yeah, people watching now live, if you want,
Yeah.
guys, you can type some questions and I will write them down and we will, well, Justinas will
Yeah.
answer them. And I got some questions that the people already made you from the previous days that they asked you through Instagram. So I got them here. So we'll go through those questions during the conversation, and people watching, you can make questions on the go as well. And let's start with the race. The race around Rwanda, as we said before, 1,000 kilometers, 17,000 of meters of elevation again, I think.
Mm.
50-50 or 60-40 gravel road. When you got there at the beginning, did you know the people from the roster, or were all of them new to you?
I mean, no, I didn't knew. I knew only I followed some on Instagram. So I knew Josh Ibit, who was there. He had won, I think, yeah, Transcontinental. I think he had won, yeah, in some years ago.
Uh-huh.
So Josh was there, but other than that, no. I knew Simon, the organizer from Transiberica, when I did a Transiberica in Spain. He did the same race. That's how I got there because yeah, I met him here and he invited me to come and do this race. Other than that, no, I didn't know what to expect actually.
So you didn't know who were going to be your toughest
That is
rivals in the
com-
race.
no, and I feared everyone. You meet someone. I met some guys on the plane,
Oh, really?
and like yeah, because they were taking the same plane, and like are you going to the race, and they look very professional, like very cool, and shit. Then you start thinking, ah,
I'm
not
not
good.
prepared. I'm not prepared.
Yeah, yeah, and you suddenly became less prepared than you were.
Yeah.
But it just yeah.
And how did it start? Like, I don't know. It was like a proper race from the very beginning, like very fast, everyone? Or
It,
did you take it slower?
one thing which I've learned from all the races I did before, those
That
races
you don't
never,
like to start slow.
yeah, they never start slow. But actually, so I was prepared to start hard, and Kigali, is or Rwanda. They call it a land of thousand hills because there's very few kilometers which are flat. It always goes up or down, up or down. So just to start from Kigali, we had some, yeah, big downhills and big climbs. And we started at like 4:30 in the morning. Some guys were late. The African guys were late to the start, so it was delayed by 10 minutes because they were still eating. Yeah, it was a bit of a chaos to begin with, but when we got off, when we started, so yeah, I think in the first climb I pushed a bit, opened a bit harder than others, and suddenly there was no lights behind me. Uh, a little bit later, two more lights start to appear behind me, and that was Geoffrey and Innocent, the Rwandan guy.
Uh-huh.
So I wasn't alone at the front, but I thought like shit. Maybe it's too early to be alone at the front, but so those guys came and made it. Yeah, then we were three for the first
Oh,
part of the race.
like for the first few hundred kilometers or for the whole?
Yeah, because after 103 kilometers, I think we reached the first gravel section. Which first was like a gravel road, very smooth. I was like laughing and smiling, and then I couldn't believe, wow, how fun it was to ride those African gravel roads. Because I
Really?
thought that that's gonna be for the rest, like all the gravel gonna look like that. But that was just
You
my
wish.
dreams and hopes, yeah, which were soon went into pieces because we reached there was a nature reservoir,
Yeah?
and we were riding along the fence, and that road is not actually legal to ride for the cars, so there's no car tracks. it's
Amazing.
it's only it's only bikes and bicycles who makes the track, and it was raining few days ago, so it was a slalom. It was I wished I had a motorbike there. I mean, 40 tires were okay, but I would love to have 45 for that section. Yeah, it was
Okay.
it was tough. And me and Jeffrey were playing in that section. Like he was in the front, I was in the front. Like attacking a bit, and
Oh,
suddenly
really?
when that section was like 30 kilometers long, so it was going for a while, yeah. And when we were finally finished with it and reached another road, there was no more innocent behind us, so we were just two then.
Yeah, when I was not watching the race, you
Yeah.
guys, both of you were like quite in front of the
Mm.
peloton, like I don't know, more than 50 kilometers maybe. And then
So
you,
much.
huh?
So much, yeah. I haven't. We didn't check. I don't know.
Well, maybe it's too much, 50. I don't know, but after the first 300 kilometers or something, you were like, I think in the head of the race the whole
Mm.
time, like 20 kilometers, and it was like not moving. It was steady 20 kilometers in front
Mm.
of Geoffrey. And yeah, how was your eating strategy? Like,
Eating
did you have
strategy.
many things on you, or Did you
Yeah,
research
I
in
mean,
Google before where you can find shops and stuff?
yeah, when I arrived on Wednesday, and the race started on Saturday morning. So my Thursday ride was mainly to get out and try to find a local shop. I mean, to get out into the small villages, try to find a shop because they don't have any signs, you know. The shops, they are like a, I mean, this is crazy. This is another level also. You just enter a hole, sometimes a hole in the wall, and there's no lights. There's just like some boxes with some water, and and they don't sell much food. I mean, you're not gonna get any Snickers or Twix or Haribos in those places. If you are lucky, you're gonna get, I don't know. I mean, so that made me
A little
research.
sandwich, maybe.
No, sandwiches they don't make sand because it's nobody would buy them because of hygienic standards there. So if you buy a sandwich which is made in that shop, I think you're probably guaranteed to have some food poisoning.
All right.
So yeah, but they make those. I think they called samosas, and yeah,
Yeah.
some local like there's some dough which is baked in fat, so it's both carbohydrates and fat, and it makes yeah quite good fuel for cyclists. But I was very unsure if I can put that in me for the whole like race duration. So
Hmm.
before I was leaving Norway, I baked myself a lot of like homemade energy bars, muesli bars.
I know them.
Yeah, you
I
know
try
them.
them.
Yeah, that's my rocket fuel. So to make sure that I mean I had enough food for me on me for the whole 1,000 kilometers that I wouldn't need to stop and refuel.
Really?
Yeah,
How
and
many kilos did you have
I
on
don't know, five
on
kilos or
you?
more. There was a lot. Yeah.
Wow.
So my bags were not full of clothes, but they were full of food. I
Really?
I had a lot of food, yeah, because I wanted to
Um,
make sure that the food I'm gonna get is gonna be either from the checkpoints where we could get some food, or my own food, nothing else.
and can you manage to eat like during 2 days the same
That's
things
the same.
constantly?
It was hard. It was getting harder and harder at the end. Yeah.
Because at
But
the end you ate all the 5 kilos of food, or
no,
you have
no, no,
no?
no. I brought home. I brought some back.
Okay.
I still have, I think,
I
a bag left of
I
at
think
least.
that always happens to you, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I never ran out of the food. So long.
So
I
at the
always
end, it wasn't that difficult to find food supply.
no, actually, it's. I mean, I again, if we take the first, both Adrian had stomach problems, but is it like because of the food or I don't know? Josh had
Yeah.
stomach problems because also, or was it food he bought at the shops, or was it something else? It's hard
All
to
right.
say. I think Geoffrey also had some problems, but was that food related? I don't know. But yeah,
Jeffrey he's from Kenya, right? Or
yeah,
Rwanda?
he's Kenya.
Okay. Okay.
So and
Okay. And you
Kenya
didn't
is
have any stomach
different.
problems.
I didn't know. My stomach is used to handle a lot of yeah. I don't care often about the expiry date on the product, so it's
Yeah.
you got used
That's
to. I'm hardened it
that's
off.
good training to make at
That's
home.
good. Yeah, that's good training to make it home.
Okay, so you were lucky in that way that you didn't have
Yeah.
any.
Oh, I mean, I made a probably a right decision to have the whole. I mean, the food which I'll need, which is safe.
Yeah.
Because one advice I got before traveling to Africa that don't buy anything which is not packed.
Okay.
And that food you buy, it's just in the buckets, and those buckets might have stayed in the sun for a long time.
I think I wouldn't be able to follow that rule. Like, I'd love to try everything I see.
Yeah, but I'm doing that now after the race because now it doesn't matter. I mean,
Okay.
the only food I've been eating now the last days is just from those shops, which is like super.
And did you get any poison?
No, not yet.
You see?
Yeah, but it's better be safe than sorry, you know.
That's true. That's true. And what about water? Was it easy to resupply water?
Uh, the difference between racing in Europe and in Africa is that shops here close at, yeah, if it's a small village, at 7, because sun goes down at 6 in the evening, and shops closes soon after the sun went down, and then there's nothing. There's no fountains which you can trust and fill your water. There's nothing. So
Wow.
I had 2 bottles, like 750 bottles, and one soft bottle, 550 or something. So 2 liters. So
Okay.
I made sure every evening, and if I saw that it's like still, yeah, early, so I would then put a small water bottle, which I would buy in a shop as well, in a pocket, so to have 2.5 liters for the night. But usually most of the nights I've reached one or the other checkpoint at the night, and checkpoints were with people, which was very nice from the organizers because yeah, I've been in races where there's nobody at the checkpoints. So these checkpoints were always with people, and they were always in locations where food and some places sleep was available, and yeah, and water was also.
Okay.
Mm.
Well, that was
So
lucky.
that.
So you ate your own food, but then in the checkpoints you could
Hmm.
resupply from other
Yeah,
stuff, and the same with
yeah,
water.
and they provided warm food, so you could have some. Yeah, I think that second checkpoint you could have like baked eggs, rice, a lot of good stuff. But I didn't, I didn't manage that plate because it was huge, and there was the whole night ahead. And if I would have eaten all that, so I would slept probably half part of the night.
Hmm. And what about your sleeping strategy? What did you have on mind?
I was thinking like, yeah, if it's gonna get very bad, so I'm gonna use one of those checkpoints for half an hour or something. But I also had in mind that we start at 4, so I had to wake up at like 3. Or like we started 4:30, but we had to be in at start at 4, and yeah, so that was already just a half of a night before the race. But I knew that, okay, I can manage the first night without sleep probably. And when the sun comes up, you don't need to sleep anyway. I mean, you wake up again, and usually the day goes quite well.
Yeah.
And I thought like, okay, but there's gonna be the second night, and probably it's gonna reach either checkpoint 3 or 4. And in one of those, maybe I will lay down because there was possibilities to get a bed. But that puncture happened.
Let's
you
go
know,
to that part. How was
and
that?
and
You were
and
you
you,
were leading the group, the race.
yeah, yeah, it was, and so it just shows you can plan as much as you want. I mean, I was planning that and this, and then I'll do this and that, and no, nothing. So yeah, I was leading, and I was leading quite safely because we were riding with Geoffrey. We were pushing a bit. I was because he's from Kenya, so he's light. He climbs very easy, but he also have packed his bike quite heavily. Like he had a lot of stuff, and we were, and it was hot. The whole day was like about 30, and it was hot. And he didn't had enough water at times maybe, so he started to get cramps, which I knew that
Oh,
okay, if he is getting cramps now, so he'll need some time easy to get it through.
you know that from your own experience, right? In
Yes,
Badlands.
from the Badlands. That was where I've learned that in a hard way. So then I was building the lead and everything looked very good. I mean, yeah, I already had maybe an hour lead, which was okay. And I entered I think there was like a tea plantations, and
Nice.
something happened to my phone and it lost the network or data connection, so I couldn't check how far and like how what's happening with the guys behind me. And then the gravel section was not a gravel section; it was trial section. I mean, you had to. I know a lot of people carried their bikes over that one because it was for some unreadable. It
And was
was
it at night or during the
no,
day?
I reached it at daytime. So it was like maybe 30 kilometers, but it took me maybe 2.5 hours.
No.
It was really slow. Yeah, it was, and it felt like it took forever. And then I couldn't check where the guys are, so I started like thinking, okay, they're right behind me. And then like, okay, now I have to push. And when I got out of that trial section into a bit smoother gravel, because of that trial section, my tires and the rim were already like had a lot of impacts.
Yeah.
So the sealant which was in the tires had already spread out in many places.
No way.
So when I stopped for that, because I felt that, I mean, so yeah, back to when I got back to that road, to the like smoother gravel, and it started to go downhill. And I thought that they are behind me, so I started pushing on the downhills instead of taking it easy. If I would have been able to check that I have not just one, but I think that was 2 or 3 hours lead, I would have taken that downhill completely different. But I took it as I took it. There was so there was like two tracks, and everything around was gravel, like smooth rolling gravel, which is not good when you're going like 60 kilometers per hour and you have to keep the corner.
Yeah.
And there was suddenly some rocks, bigger rocks, and I came in and like with the side of a tire, like
Oh,
because it was a corner
yeah.
and the tire was already a bit soft, so it got into the sidewall, like it hit the wall and or the wall to the rim, and the cut was there wasn't like a big cut, but it was enough, and the sealant wouldn't seal because there was pretty much no more sealant left in the tire
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get
from
it.
the impacts from before. And
I
what do you
know.
think? The only thing which I didn't took with me from the luggage which I had there in Kigali was a bottle with sealant.
No way.
because I because I thought like, no, I mean I'm not gonna need this. This is too much.
I
This
never
is
picture in my life.
no. And yeah. So I had two CO2s. I had a tube. I had a patching kit. I had a tubeless repair kit. What else I had? I think that was it. Yeah.
So you tried to
So
fix it in the first place.
yeah, of course. So first I tried to put a tubeless repair kit. I put the slug in, rotated the wheel, put the CO2 inside, but it wasn't enough sealant left that it would seal. You know. So it was just like all the air went. Yeah, it kept a bit, but it was nothing. I tried to ride, and it was like, yeah, I was
Impossible.
catching more rocks, and it would ruin the whole tire. So then I thought like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna put the tube in. So I took off the tire, put the tube in, put the tire back on, put another CO2. That was my second one, and voila, everything worked. Like the tire got filled with air, put it back
Yeah.
in, screwed in, and I thought like, okay, now let's go, and I started going, and it was getting softer and softer.
No.
So I stop again, take it off, take off the tube, and I had like a small mini pump. You know, my pump is a very
Yeah.
like minimalistic
I
because
know. I know it.
it's mainly because to use with CO2s. But yeah, so I try to pump it with a mini pump, and I see that there's a hole. Okay, I have a patch kit, so I clean the tire, the tube, put the patch, hold it. Uh, yeah, I don't know, 30 what was minutes. Uh, Release it and bam, gets back. I
I,
mean, the sides start to
yeah.
come off right straight away. Okay,
So how
so
did you solve it at the end?
and by the time the people start gathering around me, because you know in Africa you're never alone. There's always someone around, and if you just stop, they're gonna start coming, and the next village gonna get to know that you are stopped. So there's gonna be people from that village. I mean, by the time there was
Crazy.
like, yeah, it's crazy. So there was a guy with a motorbike, and I explained or tried to explain the problem to him, and he said like I can't help you, but I can take you to the nearest village. Maybe there's gonna be a bike mechanic here. Okay, let's do it. So I'm sitting on a motorbike right behind
With your
the
bike.
driver with the bike, no, not on the shoulder, but I had it upside down and my top tube on the knees, you know. So there's like the two wheels there, and he's driving not because I
Like
said that
crazy.
I'm in rush, you know. So he's driving fast. So we reached the first village. He's honking like beep beep beep, but the people are so used to this beeping that they
Yeah.
don't look back, and he doesn't slow down. So what happens? There's like people walking, we are coming, and he still thinks that we are as wide as a motorbike, but we have a
No.
bike. So I hit people with my bike back wheel. I almost fell off. I almost fell off of the bike. The people got hurt, like I mean, we were riding at some speed. I started hitting him in the helmet, like, man, you don't have to kill others, and me
Oh shit.
for this. Oh, and we arrive at the bike shop, which should have tubes, and of course, bike shop is closed. They try to call the owner. Owner is not in town. Where? Yeah, Africa, Rwanda. Right. So there's no solution in this town. Let's go to the other one. We go to the other one. Same story. Nothing. Let's go to the capital, and by the time we are already like 40 kilometers from where I've
40
stopped.
kilometers.
Yeah, yeah. We were driving
Okay.
all.
And what were you thinking at that time? Like
No, I
you
thought.
came to Rwanda to win the race, you were leading the race, and then
And
what
then
goes on?
everything. I was almost crying with that motorbike. I mean, I was in a yeah. I thought it's over.
So you were in a low mood.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I thought my only solution gonna be to take a bus back to Kigali, to take that fucking sealant which I've left in a case, fill the tires, seal the tires, get back to the place with the bus, which would have taken for me, I don't know, 2 days. Maybe not 2 days, but at least a day. And because the guy was driving me a lot around, and as I said, there's bike shortage in world, bike part shortage in world, and in Africa it's impossible. They're fixing things with what they have, and what
Yeah.
it's like welding, and yeah, there's
So,
a
and
lot of.
how does the story end? And how did
It
you
ended
solve it?
well. As you see, I'm here, and I'm a king. I'm a king of Rwanda, so everything went ended well.
Yeah, but
No, so
how?
because my original plan, what I was telling to that boy, that my opponents are right behind me. I might stay there and wait and maybe beg for someone of them to give me a tube. But I mean, he took me on that sightseeing tour on a motorbike. So we ended up in the capital of that district, of that region.
Yeah.
And I was taken to a new bike shop. When I say bike shop, take it with a bit of a salt. It's nothing like a bike shop. It's just
All
yeah.
right.
They are fixing bikes. They're washing bikes in the river next to the building. I mean,
Beautiful. I would
it's
like to have one of
different.
those.
Definitely. And I was there, and they were trying to patch my tube because they are the best, the experts of patching, you know. But what it turns out that my tube is a lightweight tube, which it also is made from butyl, but it doesn't absorb the glue. I
Yeah. I
mean,
know.
yeah, so they were trying and they were saying, yeah, now we have fixed it. They put the wheel back, they put everything. And by the way, another thing, they when I got there and I gave them the wheel because they didn't know how to take off the through axle, so I had to undo
Yeah.
the wheel. Gave them the wheel, and they took. You know what they use when they take off the tires of the Black Mambas? They use like metal stuff, like they
Oh
put it.
no! On your
And
carbon rims.
and my wheels are carbon, so I was like, no, no,
No.
no, 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 stop, 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 stop. I'll take the tires for. So I started taking off the tire for them so that they wouldn't touch that, and they would just like throw things away, like throw the wheels, throw the rim away, and like take out the. Yeah, they're not used to carbon
Yeah.
parts and things. The
I
things
guess.
doesn't. Oh man! So they try to fix it. They put the wheel back in. They say that they done it. I'm yeah, like already trying to arrange the same motorbike to take me back. But then I check the wheel and it's leaking. So they take,
No.
and it went like 5 times. I mean, they would say that they done it and it wouldn't, and done it and it wouldn't hold, and it done it. By the time I was just like sitting and
Crying.
I mean, devastated. I don't. It's so hopeless. Like I've been leading the race and been so stupid and taking the risk on the downhill where I didn't need to take a risk, and now I'm sitting there instead of sitting on my bike and just enjoying the views and the way to the finish line. Like, oh man. So, but and and I had another thing, I took you know $1 American dollar is equal to 1,000 Rwandan francs.
Yeah,
I
okay.
took with I took with me 30,000. I thought like fuck, I have a lot of money now. 30,000, that's a lot. It's not so much when such problems start to happen. And I ran out of money. I mean, because I had to still pay for the effort they did on that bike wheel.
Yeah.
And I still had to try to think how I'm gonna take the bus back to Kigali, because that was my only option left.
Yeah.
And but suddenly, I mean, so I sit there, and some African guy who sees me, he says, "Let me buy you a beer," and why? And says like, man, I'm not gonna drink a beer now. So he says like, okay, Fanta then. Yeah, buy me a Fanta. So there's a whole village watching me sitting there, and that guy buys me a Fanta, and I'm just like drinking that fucking Fanta, and Yeah, I mean, but then you know what happens then. Then
What?
suddenly people start screaming, "Your friend, your friend, your friend!" And I ran
The
out of that.
motorbike guy or what?
No, no, Jeffrey.
No way.
Yeah, Jeffrey was passing the city, the town where I got stuck.
So you
And
were on the route.
yeah, I got back because that capital
Ah,
or
you
the
got
district
back. You
capital.
got back to the route.
Yeah, eventually, after visiting all the villages, the capital was on the route. So I was aside of the route.
But not
And
on the
Jeffrey,
same spot where you left
no, no,
the
no,
route. All right.
like 40 kilometers away from the spot. And so Jeffrey is passing by, Jeffrey, and they start shouting, and he turns around, and then he sees me, and then he comes, and then I say like, man, save me, please. Do you have a tube? And he says like, yeah, I have two. Could you, could you sell me for all the money in the world, one tube? Just yeah. And he says like, yeah, yeah, just take it. I know that if I'm not gonna give you this tube, you're never gonna leave this town. This is impossible. This is
Wow.
so. So Jeffrey gave me the tube, yeah, and
Okay, so please let me take you the crown of the king of Africa and give it to Jeffrey.
actually, actually, that's right. This is how it should be, because
Now
Jeffrey.
he's the king. You might be the president maybe, but he's the
No,
king.
I'll be the prince. He can be the king.
Yeah, the prince. Yeah.
No, but Jeffrey, I mean, he did, and you know the whole thing is it was so crazy because the next because let's take things forward, and I catch him up on the way to the finish line,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
I
the,
know.
and
I
the,
know.
and the first thing I see like, man, what do we do now? Because you gave me the tube. I don't feel this is right.
That's true.
Yeah, because I wouldn't
So,
be there. I wouldn't be there if he wouldn't have given me that tube. And this is
so
like
did you arrange like what was
nah,
he a gentleman and told you just
yeah,
race or
yeah, yeah. He said like, would you have done the same? I said like, yeah, most. I mean, yeah, I can't say without happening and being in the same situation, but yeah, probably. Yeah. And I have given the
amazing.
And I have given the Alistair Brownlee the CO2s in Badlands, where I only had like also two. I gave one to him and been
Yeah.
left with two. So,
Wow.
so he
Beautiful.
was, yeah, and then he said like, yeah, this is how it is. I mean, I knew that for you, it's impossible to leave that town without me helping you, and so that's it. That's Jeffrey who made the things go well.
Work.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Jeffrey, my hat
Yeah,
off.
that's exactly. I mean, yeah,
So then, but let me summarize everything if I understood all right. When you puncture, you got a guy taking you with a motorbike all around Rwanda. You
that
and
district.
then
Yeah.
you got helped by Jeffrey like 40 kilometers away from where you left the truck.
Mm,
So
mm,
then you had to go
get back.
back to the point, like by motorbike or cycling.
That's another story because then you know the boy who drove me around and eventually got me there.
Yeah.
He and let's get also take in mind that it's already midnight. So I
So
asked this
yeah, how many hours was all
5 6 hours.
this? Woof. Okay, six
Yeah,
hours took
I
you
haven't I
to solve
haven't
a
checked.
puncture.
Mm-hmm. It took me a long time, man. So and yeah, so it rained in at some point, and it got like late, and I'm asking that guy to take me back, and he says like, no. So he says like maybe tomorrow,
I
maybe we
brought you
don't.
here, but I'm not bringing you back.
No, he says, I live here. I don't want to drive up there and then get back. Because he knew that I don't have much money left.
Yeah.
And so eventually I found like 400, like those Rwandan francs, which is equal to 40 cents,
Cents?
dollar. Yeah. And he said like, okay, for that much, I'm gonna drive you 11 kilometers. I said
Fair
that I
enough.
just drive me
What
those
would you
cars.
expect with 40 cents, man?
I know, but I gave him before that. I gave him, I don't know, 6 or 7 thousand. So, and 1 liter with petrol costs what, about 1,000 here. So let's say
Not
it could
not anymore.
in Africa still it does. But so anyway, so he drove me 11 kilometers, but he was stopping and checking. Okay, 8, drive a bit more. 10, a little bit more. 11, get off. How I said like, but could you please a bit like no, no.
Amazing.
So then I got on the bike and I was riding, and the point where I left it was downhill. I told you. So I was riding uphill for like an hour, I think, because when I reached the place, yeah, it was 1 p.m., 1 a.m. in the morning,
Okay.
and
All
then
right, and
what?
now and how many kilometers were left in the race? Like 400
Mm, I was
or less?
70. I was 70 kilometers.
And
500. Was I
300 left, maybe.
670? I think it was 330. Or yeah,
Yeah.
330 left.
And Jeffrey, he had passed you like
He
already
had
four
50.
hours
He
or
Yeah, he
so.
had 50 kilometer lead.
And so, what did you think at that time? Like, I guess you didn't have any more spare tubes, right, with you?
I didn't had any more
You
spare
went
tubes. I
all
didn't
in.
have
You had no spare tubes, no money, all in
no what. I had like 1/4 of one bottle left, and I
for the
and I
whole
knew
night.
that and I knew that I have the whole night. So yeah,
And then,
and then
were
I
you
just
like, well, how was your mood like at that moment? Like
I
high?
mean
Were you completely
no,
down?
I was irritated because I had to ride up the hill. That was the and my
Yeah.
legs they were frozen because I was sitting all the time. So and I've been riding for 500 kilometers, and suddenly you sit down, so the muscles get cold and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
nothing. Like you're riding up the hill. I had to push some sections because it felt like nothing left in the legs. So
So,
it took some time and I got them going. But the thing which kept me going was that I have maybe it's working again. Ah man, I don't know. This is Africa. Don't forget about this. It's
okay.
I'm quite far away.
I know, it's fine. It's fine. So, okay, let's go a bit faster.
Yeah, speed it up.
Let's speed up. You go back to the track, to the point where you left the track, and then you are low on energy, your legs are frozen, and you have just this little bit of water, and then what happens to you? Like, did you
And
have drugs on you, or or how did you catch up 50 kilometers with
no, then
Jeffrey?
I just decided that okay, so since it's so low and I'm not gonna get water any other place, then oh, and by the way, I was falling asleep when I was riding back uphill to the place where I had to get. I was starting to, yeah. So as soon as
Yeah.
I got to the place, I turned around and I passed some villages because I rode the same road up. So I passed some villages. I knew where I can stop, so I stopped. took out the pillow, 15 minutes, bam, power nap, back on the bike, and went straight on. And then my plan was, okay, now I'm not gonna stop until checkpoint 3. No, 4. I was going to checkpoint 4.
Not even for drink or water, like
Mm, I
on the
mean,
go.
there's nothing to nowhere to stop. The shops are closed. There's no night open shops in Africa.
And how
At
many
least
kilometers was that until the next checkpoint?
100. No, it was, yeah. I did 70 of 240, so it was 100. Was it 170 left? Yeah.
With this little bit of water.
Mm.
And then you get there to the checkpoint,
Yeah,
and
and
you were in third position or in second position?
yes, third, because I decided to push and to see what's gonna happen, and I'm gonna push until checkpoint 4, and I'll see where I am at that point. So when I started, yeah, pushing, and like halfway, I lost my gloves, which I had on me, and I put them in the pocket because was getting warmer. So I was taking off the jacket, and probably they fell off then. And I thought, like, okay, now I'm gonna check where I am, and if I'm too far away, then I'm gonna turn around and bring and pick my gloves. But if I'm getting closer, I'm gonna carry on. And then I check and I see that Adrian is just like 6 kilometers in front. Josh was maybe 11, and Geoffrey maybe had 20. So I already maybe cut it in half all the distances,
So,
which
and
would
how fast were you driving at that point?
quite fast. I was taking
I'm
all the
saying,
risks. I was taking all the risks possible in all the downhills. That my tires hold, I don't know. That's a miracle.
and you had a new inner tube, but the
Yeah,
tire it had still the cut.
yeah. It's,
Okay. All right, and then you at the checkpoint 3, you meet up
oh,
with
oh,
4. You meet up with Adrian or not?
yeah. After some, so since I knew that he's just a little bit in front of me, I see the red light, and okay, now we're playing. So I see Adrian's light. I catch him up. Then we ride together with him. Yeah, like side by side, talking a bit how it went until now. And he had his story because his days also wasn't like butter smooth. So yeah, we share the stories, and then he checks the map, and he says like, Josh, we should catch Josh soon, and Geoffrey should also wouldn't be that far ahead.
Because
And
these guys, like Jeffrey and Josh, did they stop for a power nap or a proper sleep?
mm, because
That's
we
why you
passed,
could cut off so much time.
yeah, yeah, and because Geoffrey had to stop, I think he said like 2 times he stopped for like half an hour. So that's a lot. So
Well,
when I
I don't know if
yeah, like I've slept 15 minutes in those 2 days. Yeah, 3 days almost. So so Jeffrey slept.
crazy.
Yeah, he slept a bit more, so he was better. But so yeah, me and Adrian then passed Josh because Josh he was laying at the ditch somewhere at the roadside. We didn't see him. He heard us. He said that later in the finish line that he heard when we passed. And we reached the checkpoint 4 together with Adrian. Or I reached it a little bit later because I stopped at the cash machine. Because the cash machines, they also doesn't exist in every village and every place here in Africa or Rwanda. So I stopped to take out some cash because fuck knows what else can happen, and it's better to have a bit with you. So I arrived at the checkpoint 4. There was some breakfast. We were there, yeah, at 7 in the morning or something. Yeah, sun was just rising up. So I just have some breakfast, and I make sure that I'll have enough water with me to do the last 180. So I drank a lot of water because I
You
was
filled up your whole
almost
bottles.
I was almost dehydrated by the time I reached the checkpoint. I mean, yeah. So and then yeah, then I was on a mission after that because I knew I was already in third. Adrian left before I was ready to leave, so I filled my bottles. I grabbed a Fanta or something in a back pocket, and I still had my race fuel or rocket fuel power bars,
And
and
you speed up.
I just speed up, and I think it was like 15 kilometers to Geoffery at that time, and Adrian also made like 3 kilometers before I left or something like that.
It
So
was it was amazing to see the dot watching, like the dots,
it was
because
amazing.
you catch Jeffrey like just in the last 15 or 20 kilometers, something like that.
Yeah, 50. I think, yeah, 50 kilometers.
Wow, it was amazing. It was
But
like
I
we
mean,
were like, come on.
but I was pushing. He was pushing, and so yeah. So first I caught Adrian after like an hour from the checkpoint, but we all were going full gas. Like, yeah, it was new race, and it was like the time trial. The three doing time trials against each other. We had different start points, and now who's gonna catch who? So at first
Incredible.
I catch Adrian and I just tell him that, yeah, man, I'm on a mission, so I'm just gonna go. So not gonna talk to you now. So so I just went past him and disappear, like tried to disappear, but he was still at the back for a while. And I was just like, and out of 180 last kilometers, 80 was on a gravel with some lumps and bumps, which suited Geoffery better than me. But the last 100 was on tarmac and
Okay.
more or less straight. So, what do you think? Like, then it happens, and I mean, I'm pushing on the gravel, trying to catch Geoffery, but the distance is always like, I don't know how many times I checked it, but it was always 3 kilometers, like three, 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 three. It didn't got away. I mean, I wasn't getting further back, but I wasn't closing either. So we were doing the same tempo. But
I
what
know, I followed it.
Yeah, but what I knew that Geoffery doesn't have aero bars, and I have aero bars. So I thought like, okay, now I have to just to try to keep the distance in like fighting possible distance until we're gonna reach the tarmac, and then yeah, maybe
Yeah.
things gonna start happen there, and that actually yeah. But then we reached tarmac, and I was still pushing, and it still was 3 kilometers. So I was that much from giving up and saying like, yeah,
Oh, really?
because it looked like I was,
Impossible, yeah.
I was still
But I
like
guess he was
drinking.
also running out of energy, so
Yeah,
at some
and
point.
so at last I see Geoffery in front of me, and then when he saw me, so his power also went. Brrr.
Oh.
So then it was like, then we rode like side by side and decided that, okay, Kigali is gonna be, yeah, the playground. Yeah, we're gonna make who's winning Kigali.
And then, well, and then you came first into the finish line. And how was that feeling? Like this is your
Amazing.
this was your fifth race, I think,
Yeah.
ultra race,
Yes. Mm,
and finally you won it.
yes. I've been chasing this for some time. Yeah. So it was. I mean, yeah. I couldn't be happier, even though it rained like crazy when we reached Kigali. Like all the dust, I wanted that dust on me and on my bike, and it was like. So I
Hey,
still have the Palmyra. Yeah. By the way, we have to make sure what we do with the Palmyra jersey. Do you send me a new one, a white one, or should I try to get it back to white, or what's
no,
gonna happen?
I think you have to hang it on the wall.
Yeah, that's
You
gonna
you buy a
happen.
frame, you put it on your wall, It's like your trophy of one of
Yeah.
the biggest experiences ever. And don't worry because next week we are going to make a new order of the new Palmyra Sigma Factoria jersey. So you will get yours,
Good,
the new
good.
one, which
Then
is
it's
a new
good.
model.
That's good. That makes me, yeah. Then I'm not gonna wash it that much because I was afraid that it will never be white again.
Yeah, it probably won't. I
Yeah.
saw the pictures.
Yeah.
Cool, man. It was
Yeah,
amazing
but
story. Very like impressive that you did
yeah,
it.
but I think we didn't touch many questions. I know that there
No,
was a
no,
question.
they are. They are.
So
I have them written here. So let
it's
me.
not to
There.
take too
Yeah.
much because there was, yeah, all those technical
Problems. Yeah. No
issues.
worry. But yeah, there is an interesting question that someone made you through Instagram, and it's you were aiming for the win from the start. What gave you the belief you could do it?
Hmm. Yeah, that's training. I don't know. I mean, yeah, when
To trust your training, right?
yeah, I trust my training. I do. Yeah, I ride a lot, and then and if you arrive at the start and you don't believe in yourself, so then it's, I don't know. There are, like, in all those races, there are just like 10% or 20% of people who are fighting for the win or want to win. There is like 80% who are there to fight against the time limit. Maybe time limit. Somebody puts the time that they want to finish. Like they say, okay, I want to do this course in 3 days.
Yeah, like
And
a
it,
challenge.
yes, they put themselves a challenge. So, but I arrived with a contention, yeah, or the I wanted to win, yeah.
Yeah, sure. And you did it. And if you
Lucky.
look back, if you look back to last year when you started like coming into this ultra cycling world, how has your training changed from the first Transiberica almost 1 year ago to the last race in Rwanda? Did it change a lot? Have you been training like similar in a
No,
similar
so
way?
I've been before. I've been training like I would race normal races, like the short races. I don't know. Yeah, I've so in the last weeks been some changes, and I got more. I mean, I've started doing longer rides and low intensity, like to what I've been used to. Because my long rides always included some. Suddenly there's a tailwind, so you maybe try some like Strava KRMs, and if there's like a headwind, so maybe nothing. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like, so that's the difference, and maybe the volume. Like I increased the weekly volume. I was
Oh,
training
you
already,
did?
like I was already training for like 15 hours, but now the last weeks before arriving to Rwanda, it was 21, 22 hour weeks. Yeah.
Okay. So this race was actually meant to be in January,
Generally.
but then it has to be postponed because of COVID.
Mm.
And so you think you took advantage of that? Were you now in a better shape than if it had been in January? Well, actually, in January, instead of doing racing in
Mm.
Rwanda, you raced the Canary Islands, the
Very
Grand
true.
Wanted. So
Mm.
maybe that helped in your training.
But Grand Guancha was completely different race because there was, I mean, I
Yeah,
like the races.
for
Or the
sure.
races suit me better if they are harder. So if it's in the one go, because Grand Guancha it was like ferries stopping.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody could sleep and everybody were fresh. So yeah, here everybody is tired. Everybody has the same heat, and there's the equal conditions to everyone. So it was, I think, just the race type of Rwanda suited me better than Grangwanche. The form was in Grangwanche too. I had it. It was in Grangwanche. There was more like a food strategy mistakes, which I ate a pizza before the last
Yeah.
island, which didn't help, and yeah. So there was such things which didn't allow me to fight for the better positions there. But here
Okay.
in Rwanda, yeah.
And do you have another question that they made you? Do you have any tricks to stay awake, or it's
Gravels
just
gravel sections are the best to keep
that
you awake.
stays you awake?
Yeah, no, I mean that's for sure. Like I know that you're not gonna start ride on the on the gravel beside the road when you're doing the road race. But at least for me, the reason why I could push through the second night without sleeping, it was because we had a lot of gravel that night.
Okay.
So that helped me to keep constant. Like, I mean, because on the gravel, it's quite hard to fall asleep if you are being
So no
shaking over.
caffeine, no coffee pills, no coffee,
There's
no.
no coffee in Africa. I mean, in those villages, they don't drink coffee. It's just in the capital where you can get coffee.
Okay.
So it's
All right.
nothing. And I wanted to take coffee in with me, like coffee in gels. I ordered them before I left, like 2 weeks before I left to Rwanda, and they
Hmm.
arrived 3 days after I left, I think. So my coffee is in Norway, so
No
that
way.
didn't help.
Shit. Okay. Some one spectator just asked you if you are thinking of some 24-hour races. Is that your thing?
Eh, I mean, yeah, maybe. They're different because I mean, you race in loops, yeah, and
Less
you always,
adventurous that in a
yeah,
24 hours race you won't be like driving on a motorbike with your bicycle like
yeah. No,
like you did in Rwanda.
of course it would be. I think I will try one day. Yeah, that's for sure. Just to see what it is and how I would compare to in those races, but I think I got used to those unsupported events where you don't have any team with you. In those races, usually you have both mechanic, you have a like someone who gives you a massage and food and everything and gets you ready and going. Maybe my advantage would be if I would pack everything on my bike, I would just go for 24 hours without stopping, just changing bottles and that's it.
That's true. You would have some advantage there.
Yeah, that's
Cool.
uh,
So summarizing, you won the race in about 50 hours, right? Or how,
yeah,
53
50, yeah. Sorry, but yeah,
and
I would need to
50
check.
something. And you slept only 15 minutes in the whole race.
Mm.
That's something. Okay. All right.
Didn't have time for that, no. I was planning
And
to sleep more, but nope.
well, your worst moment, I guess it was the puncture thing. What would you highlight as your best moment?
See Jeffrey. So to see Jeffrey 2 times. To see Jeffrey first when he comes and has a tube. That was
Yeah, like
and
an
the-
angel.
and the second was when I saw Jeffrey in front of me, like on the road with 50 or yeah 60 kilometers to go. That was again a big. Now, now, now it starts again, you know.
I can imagine.
So that was
Very well,
two.
very good, very good. So I think we went through all the questions they got. I don't know if you want to add something. I
No.
enjoyed your story a lot. I really enjoyed it.
I hope that people enjoyed it too, and those technical issues not disrupt you too much. But I don't know. I mean,
This is
it's
life.
fun. This is life. This is Africa, and you there are so many things which happens. Oh my God, it's different continent. It's different world. I would advise everybody to visit Africa one day, just to,
Would you recommend the race?
of course, yeah. It's the best way and the safest way to see, to explore Africa, or at least Rwanda, because this is very different. Like all the countries in Africa are different, but Rwanda is the heart of the Africa, as they call it. It's a very small land in the middle of the Africa. So yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna get back exactly to Rwanda, but I'll back to Africa, that's for sure. Maybe it's gonna be Kenya, and maybe that's gonna be a migration gravel race. Maybe,
Really?
who knows? Yeah.
Well, if you want to do it in pairs, I'm here.
We're gonna start in Madrid, Barcelona. That's gonna be our
Yeah.
start.
Is that your next goal, your next race, or do you have something before Madrid,
No,
Barcelona?
I have two races before Madrid, Barcelona.
Which ones?
The first is on the 11th of April. That's gonna be the classics, the Northern Way. That's gonna
Okay.
be the all Paris-Roubaix, Flandern, Ghent-Wevelgem, it's Flanders. All
Yeah, all the
those in
classic.
all the classic races in one go. So it's 1,200 kilometers of cobbles and bergs and everything.
Oh shit.
That's gonna be tough one.
Then you better bring some spare tubes. Not just
Yeah,
one.
I will. I and some sealant.
And some Zealand,
And
yeah.
some sunscreen. Jesus Christ, man, you can't see, but I burned. I mean, I burned a lot. I thought it's gonna rain because the rain season should start now, and it should be like that, but but no, didn't
Yeah.
start. It was rain. It was just only sun, and it got warm. It was
Yeah, I
warm.
bet. Look, Patsy says that he's also volunteering for joining
Go to
you
Africa.
to Africa next time.
Right, so that's gonna be a competition between you who's gonna be with it.
Shit, I cannot
Nah,
win, Patsy.
yeah, we'll see. But yeah, Pachi, by the way, Pachi, you remember you gave me a science in sports bar in Gran Guanche just before Lagomera, I think. So I had that bar. I didn't eat it, and I had it with me to Africa, and I ate it on the way. So your bar saved me too. So thank you for that bar.
You owe
That was
me
a,
one bar.
I owe you my power bar. There's so many people who helped me without knowing that they helped me. Yeah.
Cool, man. Well,
Yeah.
I think we can name you again the King of Rwanda together with Geoffrey. I don't know
Geoffrey is
if
the
I don't know if Geoffrey is still there with you in the hostel,
no,
but
he's the with other,
hopefully
but I'll meet
he's
him.
watching this. Greetings from here to Geoffrey. You are our other hero together with
Yeah.
Justinas.
I'll be the prince. He'll be the king.
Yeah, that's okay. Okay, man.
Right.
Then see you next
See
time you
you.
win a race.
Hopefully that's gonna be soon.
Yeah, cross fingers. Take care,
Yeah.
man, and thanks
Right.
everybody for watching and
Yeah.
for staying there. We
See.
hope you enjoyed it.
Great. See you
All
and bye
right,
bye.
see ya. Bye bye. Ciao, people.